Right, this is how I work on stony ground. With jacks, axle stands, wheel chocks and pieces of wood to kind of keep everything nice and flat as I possibly can. We have got lots to do on this van, outside on the customer's driveway, full service kits, fan belts, water pumps, timing belts, you name it, loads and loads of stuff we're going to do in the driveway. Hello and welcome to another Budget and Leggit video. We're going to be doing a timing belt today. Timing belt, water pump, the full arm kit and caboodle, fan belts and most of a few other things. Now, I recently got this mat from Lithuania, Lithuanian army mat. So there we go. It's for a sleeping bag, but it's really good because you can fold it in loads of different ways. So anyway, what we need to do first is we need to take off the wheel. Don't like the looks of that, look at that. Oh god damn, fucking Ford wheel nuts. Why the fuck do you do it, Ford? Then we need to take off the wheel arch liner, and then you would normally have to take off the engine tray, but that's disappeared. I have a wheel chock underneath there, as you can see. We have an axle stand with a piece of wood, so it really does flatten this off quite nicely. Yeah, so let me get the wheel off first. I have a special 18.5mm socket for that, but I can't be asked to go and get it because, as you can see, that works. When you're working on a car and you're taking off the wheel, always good to put the wheel underneath the car as an extra form of security, because if it does fall or anything happens, it will sit on the wheel and it can just protect you. You can see that there like that. It will do damage to the wheel or the alloy or the tyre, but at least it could potentially save your life. Right, this next bit I'm not even going to be able to film because you can't really see it, but I'm just going to take off a couple of screws, a couple of clips. Right, and there we go, we've got the wheel off, we've got the cover off, and there was also another cover on the bottom there. Just wait for this big tractor with a Fusion 2, it looks like. Fusion 2 on the back of it. We had this other cover here just protecting the to the bottom of the fan belt, bottom pulley, even though the bottom pulley has a protector inside it because of the way the pickup is on that. I'll show you that for the bottom crank sensor, and it's like a ABS wheel, it's like a magnet pickup, and it's, you know, you have to be careful, so that's why there's a cover on it. T30 bolts, or technically screws, and a couple of clips took this off and took that off. So now what we're going to do is going to work on the top, get some of the top prepared, and yeah, get stripping. First thing I need to do is remove the I should remove that first. So normally get out of the way. You can normally do with not moving that. We're going to remove the expansion bottle first. You have to be really careful of these, that these don't break. Might be as well off just moving these now, to be honest. And just getting them out of the way, because very easily broke, especially when you're trying to lift up on this. Because of the way these clips are, there's no bolts on this, it's clips. We're replacing all the fluids and everything in it anyway, so it's just, it can be. Okay, that's come off quite easy. Oh. Backside hasn't. Now this is going to be in the way. I want to try and avoid taking that off, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get away with it. Yeah, man. Nope. I have to take that off, but oh, come on, we can get this without doing that, because I don't want to. There we go. Told you we could. Alright, so we removed that clip just because we just get out of the way. we've got to take the water pump off, so we're replacing all the fluids. So you don't have to take this off, you can just move it out of the way, but I've never done a timing belt on one of these, so I just want to remove it out of the way because I just can tell it's going to be kind of in the way. And 2 little clips, or 2 little push clips, 1 metal clip, it's no big deal just to take it off. Especially if you're not used to timing belts and you just want to triple check everything, when things aren't in the way, it's just a bit easier. Once you've done a couple, they're not as daunting as you kind of first think they are. They're awkward, time consuming, but that's about it. Now, expansion bottle is out of the way. The dog can see the rabbit. We can take off this front cover, or this top cover. Then we need to take off the engine mount. Then we need to get these wires pushed out the way. There's a load of wires coming down here. Can't really remove them completely. Well, you can, but you just can't, if you know what I mean. So we'll just push them out the way. Take off this engine mount, and then we can start doing all the timing. Now, I've got no special tools. I have got special tools, but I purposely didn't bring them with me because I want to show you don't need special tools for these particular type of engines. Drill bits and stuff like that, or anything round, will work. So yeah, let's get this cover off first before I take the engine mount off, because I've got to set the jack up to do the engine mount. There's certain things that's going to help you with jobs like this, and I recently got this from DeWalt. I spent over 5k on DeWalt tools in the last few months, and there's a video coming out in it, and my brand new compressor that I got blew up. Oh, it's not an 8mm, it's a 7mm. So as you can imagine, I was pissed off, and I know what people are going to say. Oh, why don't you just take it back? You have to watch the video, won't you? But things like they don't need to come all the way out, they can stay in there. Things like battery tools for things like this just make your life so much easier. I mean, how easy was that? And it's all because of battery tools. Now, dog can see the rabbit. So, we're close to the top timing mark anyway. But we could be 180 degrees off on the bottom. So what I need to do now is set up the jack underneath with a piece of wood, so it doesn't just go on the sump, it spreads the weight across it. And then we can support the engine. Then we can take off this engine mount here. So we can take off the engine mount here. It goes onto the engine and the frame of the car. Then we need to take off the actual mount that's on the engine, because we need to get all that off to do the timing belt. Right, you need a 15mm. And if you've got a long socket, because of these threads sticking out here, all the better. But you don't need the long reach for the bottom, but if you've got a long reach. But what you do really need is, unless you want to start taking off the wipers and all that, is if you get one of these wobbly extensions, which are unbelievable. This one is actually from Sealy Prime, so it's Sealy, like it's Sealy's version of their top range tools. Still Sealy prices, so still very cheap, but awesome bit of kit. So it allows me to be lazy and use my big gun, if I had it the right way. You really need the wobbly extension for the bottom of the engine. I'll show you that in a minute, where it's a lot more harder to get to. I'm going to swap to a different socket. Get it in down there. I might need a different extension with me. I should be able to get to it with this. Come on. There I am. Where are you? There we go. I tell you, this wobbly attachment is just fucking awesome. What I really like about the Sealy one, you can see it just says Prime there, is it's got this extra ring on the top, which is for strength. Because when they first came out, I don't know who first brought them out, but they were just breaking. So some clever spot put that over the top of it and made it a million times better. Now, one engine mount off. But we now need to take off this, which is a 16mm now, I think. Yep, 16mm, 4 bolts on a 16mm. Let's whip that bad boy off. Now we're going to swap to another new ratchet that I brought. Oh, these are tight. Okay, now. They're tight. Camera's in my way. This is always the way. YouTuber problems, eh? Oh. Might need a different socket. Long reach now rather than the super short ones. It's still 16mm, obviously. Oh. The engine's moving, that's the problem. But the power of this thing. What I really like about the new ratchets that I got from DeWalt is, now I pay for them, this is not a sponsored video, it's just there's two reasons why I got DeWalt. One, I more or less had all the batteries, so I wasn't buying batteries. But the second reason is the way the batteries actually clip in, it's nice and smooth and they don't stick out the end like some of the Milwaukee ones, so you can get this a lot farther down. But what I really like about them is you can change this lot. So this particular tool went from 3/8 to 1/4, so you don't have to buy 2 ratchets, you only have to buy 1. That saves a fortune. This one's the same, this goes to 1/2 inch to 3/8, but also on this one you get the bit driver connection with this one as well, so this is a 3-in-1, which saves you a fortune, because we know these tools aren't bloody cheap. And really you need all 3. You need a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch and 3/8. So technically you don't have to buy all of them. Buy 2 of them, you get 4 tools, which is in that way a bargain. Now this might not come out, I was going to say it might not come out because the timing belt covers go on these lips here, so this kind of has to go in first because the bottom timing belt cover goes on the bottom there. Right, so we removed that. Now we can get to the fan belt a lot easier. We're going to get that tensioned off, put a pin in it. I haven't got a pin, I don't think, or do I? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Right, so now what we've got to do is get the fan belt off. So here is a tensioner, and all we need to do is get a 15mm spanner. I happen to have a pin, so anytime you do a timing belt or a fan belt tensioner, you get these pins with it, and always good to save them for this reason. So all we need to do is get this, pull it back like that, and then we can put the pin in. See, pin is now in, as you can see, and this fan belt now, the underneath will be slack. See that? And we'll just leave that like that. I don't think we have to take it off, but looking at that, we do have to take it off. because of the bottom cover here, but I'm just gonna, yeah, there's a bolt in behind that right there, so we're gonna have to take this off just because of one little bolt. Well, fuck you. That looks like it's 1, 2, I don't know, is there any more bolts down here? Is there anything here? No. So is it 1, 2, 3? 3 bolts to remove that. Let's have a goosey. Alright, hopefully you can see 3 10mm. I think. I'm not sure. I can't see anything else on the bottom. That doesn't mean there isn't. Drop the engine up a bit high for that one. Oh, I love the power of them. And from what I can see, they're one of the most powerfulest ones out there. The smaller one is 12 volt and the bigger one is 18 volt. Sounds like I'm trying to sell stuff for DeWalt. DeWalt, sponsor me. Just spent a fortune on your fucking tools, you could sponsor me. But then, why would they? I'm just fucking telling you about the fucking tools. But any type of air tool, battery powered tool is going to save you so much time in anything you do on a car. Not just things like timing belts or anything, but anything. Once you've had them, you can't live without them. It's one of them things. If you never had them, you can live without them. Now hopefully you can see here. So we put the spanner on top there and you can see the hole there, and that just holds the tensioner. Oh, that tensioner's fucked. Listen to the bearing. Oh, we'll have to tell the customer. Right, this is kind of now loose out the way. So now you get in here, you can see that bolt, where is it, down there, that's what was stopping me, or that's what the tensioner will stop me getting out. Alright, so you can see I got a block of wood all the way across the engine, so it supports that you're not just jacking up on the sump because you'll break it. This, I hope it will come off. I don't need a screwdriver. Now, customer is getting a new fan belt tensioner. Now, you can't see it, not yet, but essentially in behind there where them holes are, you can see it there, that's where the pickup ring is for this sensor at the bottom. And it's like a magnet pickup almost, and it's the same as a, you know, a wheel bearing sensor. And the thing is, it's easily damaged, so that cover is on there because if a stone gets there, or you know, crap or whatever, it can damage that and the engine will cut out. So it is vitally important you do put this on, because it's not the end of the world, you know, they're easily replaced and all that, but still it can leave you stranded somewhere. So this cover is very important. Right, 18mm to take off the bottom pulley. There we go, nice and easy. Now you can see the pickup that I'm talking about. Sometimes, depending on your kit, you actually get a new one in the timing belt kit. Depending on which kit you buy, I don't know if we've got one, but you can see the pickup there, so that's why that cover is just really, really important. I'm just going to take these off camera because I'm not going to be able to do it on camera. So we've got a 10mm there for the sensor, and then we've got a 7mm, couple more 7mm, one in the middle there, look, couple more at the top, and then we can actually get the bottom cover off, and then we can actually start trying to time this thing up before we take it off. That's actually an 8mm, not a 10mm, and these are 7mm. And there's one, this bracket here, so see this wiring, where is it, this wiring here, and there's a bracket held on by the back with an 8mm. That allows me to push that out the way now and get, you can just see it there, look. You see it there, my finger is, you see it? You see it now, from the top here, look. That bolt hiding in behind there, and that will take off the timing belt cover then, and we're good to go. Right, I've got this cover off, so you can see we've got 1, 2, this is where the fan belt tensioner was hiding, or blocking this one. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is where the metal bracket was blocking, which had the 8mm just here, the big backing track. Looks better. Now, one thing I did notice, see all this kind of browny stuff, it almost looks like it was overheating. I've asked the customer, he doesn't remember any water leaks or overheating, but you can see it in the cover. And then when we come down here, you can see it all here too. So we've got 3 timing marks. We've got the top cam, the bottom cam, and the fuel pump. This hole here lines up with a hole in the block. You can see just right down here, I'll get to it a bit better, there's a block sticking out, and that lines up with the hole there, and then there's a gap inside here which lines up with the hole right there. And all we're going to use is drill bits. Now if you look on this pickup, it's a different style pickup to the one that I was thinking of. That's quite easily changeable. I don't know if that's part of the sprocket, but anyway, it doesn't matter, you don't get one with the kit. But here is a round hole. You can see the round hole there, and compared to all the others that are kind of, you know, oblong shape, and that lines up with a stud sticking out of the engine. So we just need to line that up to there, and we should be in line with all our marks. So let me get that done, put the bolt back in, line it all up, and we can take everything off. You can see what I mean about the water damage too, or some sort of damage, water leak or something, I'm not sure. Right, I'm going to try and get you in here a lot better so you can see. So the bottom one, you can now clearly see, look how that stud sticks through, and just a normal drill bit. I don't know the sizes because these drill bits are old now, the sizes are worn off. Then on the pump side, we've got a hole. Now we've got quite a big slit. I can move that quite a bit once the belt's off, but as long as it's within that slit, you're going to be fine. I'm also going to double mark these pulleys with Tipp-Ex just in case, just for any strange reason. And then we've got a drill bit on the top. So the bottom pulley is about, say, 12 o'clock. The top pulley is, say, 2 o'clock, and then the middle pulley is 3 o'clock. So like 1, 2 o'clock up here anyway. And that really is it. The downside using drill bits is you're going to hit your hand and cut them. But I just wanted to try and show you that you don't need the special locking kit. The locking kit is just bars. It is just different thickness bars. So it's essentially a drill bit. It's just not cut to be a drill bit. But you know, if you cut it, it'll be a drill bit. I've used these before and people go mental. I can't believe you're doing that. It's so wrong. It's not. It's the same fucking thing, people. So now what we're going to do is we're going to release the tension on the belt. We have to, I'm sure we get a new pulley here. We're releasing the tension here, and obviously we're going to get a new water pump. So we're going to take all that off and hopefully not cut ourselves too badly with the drill bits, but I guarantee you we will. Right, I have double marked everything, you can see. The only reason I've actually marked on the timing belt is because so I can get the line so I know where it goes on the plastic. We've marked the pump, the top pulley. I haven't done the bottom pulley yet. I can't really get to it because of the way the pickup ring is. It's a lot bigger and it just kind of gets in the way, and the marks don't really kind of line up properly, or it's hard to line them up. So like I said, it's not really the end. You don't really need to. It's just I like to kind of do it. So go. Tensioner off. Oh, stay there, Mr. Camera. Okay, if I don't back myself into a corner. So I'm angling it, just so I don't. We get a new bolt with that anyway. Okay. Now, this is your tensioner. There's a stud that sticks out on the engine, which I'll show you in a minute, where that has to locate to, because otherwise it won't allow you to tension. The whole thing will spin. It won't be tensioning, which is important. This then has to come, so this hole has to line up in the middle here once we come to tension it back. But for now, should be able to Take this belt off. See all the kind of what looks like water is overheated in the middle of the belt, but I've been told this engine hasn't overheated, so I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, she's bad. She's bad, look. So the issue with the belt, a lot of people say, oh look, I can still see the writing on it. It can't be that bad. You can clearly see the writing on it. But no, you ready? The only way to tell a belt pop is squeeze it together. Look at all them cracks in it. That's actually quite bad. Especially considering it's a timing belt. Right. So just here then, you can see where my finger is where the tensioner needs to go. So where this part, see how that sticks through there? Can you see that? The camera move to the side of this one position. Now, you see that there? So there, that has to go through, and it kind of stops it from twisting. Then that. So we need to take off this. Not sure what size that is. Oh, we've got the size. 16 mil. So 13 to take off tensioner, 16 mil to take off the idler. Oh, I love the power of this thing. Love it. Now, kind of sounds okay, feels okay, but again, we are replacing it. Now what I got to do is take off. Fucking things in the way, I can't really get it out. Can we at least get this off? No. Is this going to come off easy? Or is there another pipe or something on it? Let's just move it out of the way, because the problem is it's in the way to take off the water pump. They look like 8 mils. Let me just double check. Yep, get the smaller gun on that now. So much easier. I need the long reach on it. Long reach socket. God, man, I told you need to be a mechanic. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Don't become a mechanic, people. It's leaking. Oh no, get under there. There. Oh, get on. Oh, I've got myself into a corner, have I? Fucking get off, come on. There's 2 more and I can't get to them. Because of this fucking plate. I don't know how I'm going to get this plate off. I can get to 1 now. Just move that fucking thing out of the way. I can get to 1. I know you can get to it. Right. 1 left. Right, we actually have 2 more, which I can get from the bottom. Lucky enough. Waterfall. Metal gasket, just what I like to see. not fucking full of sealant, because it means practically no cleanup, if any cleanup, because the sealant, believe it or not, people love to put sealant on these things when no sealant should be on it. If there's a gasket, it does one or two things. The sealant, if you put too much on, squeezes inside it, can block up the pump, can block up some parts of your engine and cause it to overheat. But what will also happen is you'll invoid your warranty on your water pump if they see sealer all over it, because sealer is not designed for it. See, the screw of the water pump was quite rusty, so at certain stages of its life it's maybe didn't have proper coolant in it, but it feels good. It doesn't feel bad, which is a good thing. Maybe it was leaking there, look, looks a bit close to the edge there, but the rest is kind of shiny. Anyway, we'll give that a quick wire brush, and then we're good to put everything back. I'm going to see if this little wire brush will do it. If not, I'll put a wire brush on a drill. That'll definitely do it, but this, I hope it should. Not, like I said, there's no sealant on it, so it really isn't going to be bad. Yeah, that's working. Yep, that's going to work. So let me clean it. I have to go off and get the part now for the fan belt, and then we hope we get it all back together. Right, it's all nice and sparkly clean, look. And I use another one of my new tools. I got this the other day. Well, I got this again essentially with a lot of stuff, and I only needed this for one job, for a quad, believe it or not, a Honda Big Boy. It was called Honda Big Boy 300, and the price of this thing for one job was a bit annoying, but I've just cleaned that whole thing up with it, and yeah, I'm gonna be using this a lot more, because you see it's so small. It's an angle drill. It's so, you know, even I've got a small drill, I got a normal drill and like a smaller version of the drill, which I got the other day. It's a McLaren limited edition DeWalt one, and I thought it'd be handy to get into certain places, because it's powerful but small, but it didn't even work on the quad. So this little thing is awesome. Right, we're ready to put everything back now as soon as I collect the parts. Right, so here is a new water pump, and we've got a nice metal gasket, which is good, but you might notice on this that we've got some round holes, and then we got these kind of triangle holes. And what a lot of people struggle with is to keep the gasket up, because when the gasket just moves and you might get it trapped or all sorts, and it's hard to, you know, keep it together. Some people put grease on it, which can work, and some people put sealer on it because it kind of keeps it in the same place, but believe me, you do not want to put sealer in. But these little triangle holes, I'll show you what they're for.
Why don't you just put glue on it?
Because you can't. The glue will leave a little ridge and it won't sit flat.
Oh, that's not. Oh, yeah.
Right, then it'll leak.
Oh, that's really bad.
That is really bad. So what you do is you get your bolts and you screw them in a couple of threads. It will lock into this like lock nut almost, right? So let's just get that in like that, right? Let's get that a couple of threads in.
Daddy, one of your gloves is really bright and then one of your gloves is really black.
Yeah, because it's
Mechanic glove.
no, it's one of them ripped, so I had to get a new one.
Oh.
So what we need to do is screw this in again, and it will, just like that, put one in the bottom, the one in the top, one in the bottom. Watch this. Are you ready? Camera's in my way as normal, which is really awkward. Now, see? Look at that. Oh, that is in. It's just the bolt moving. But that now won't move anywhere. All the other holes line up, see? And I can get it in. Boom! Sorted!
Yay! Let's try that again, but with a different error. That's a bit of a
Yeah. That there now is on. No sealer, no hassle.
no problem. Because me and Daddy are the best mechanics in the world.
What do we say when something works well?
Sorted!
Yeah, sorted.
And we say this at the end of the video. Don't forget to get the hand here.
Right, that is on, and these bolts really are not tight, so you don't over tighten them because you will come into issues. Oh no, that's it. It's for the case, I think. Oh, I'm in the wrong position. Anyway, as you can see, I'm struggling for space now. The camera's in my way. So all I'm going to do is tighten up all them bolts, and I'll show you the old one. So here's the old one. You can see where the bolts go. This one's for the timing cover, and the rest goes that way, I think. Yeah.
The old one's
And,
really rusty.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's kind of rusty, isn't it? It was definitely leaking from there as well.
Yeah.
I have to show the customer that. Anyway, so I'm just going to tighten up them 8mm bolts, and then yeah, boom. Okay, we got the new tensioner, and now what we need to do is get the new tensioner in. So if I can get the camera really close down to here, this is the little stud sticking out here that this part needs to go on. There's a little pin. Do not pull that pin yet. You want to pull that pin right at the end. See if we can keep the camera there and feed this in. Get caught with all the drill bits I've put there because it's just what happens. Screw this in. Now just hand tie it in, but hopefully now you can clearly see still the little pin sticking out, and or the little nipple sticking out, and that goes on top there, because that will just then, when we come to tension, it will just spin the internals, it won't spin the whole thing around. So that's good. Now we need to put this idler on, and we can tighten this one up fully. Tighten that bolt fully, but we're not going to tighten this bolt. It's just hand tight for the minute. So I'm going to tighten this bolt, and then we're going to put the timing belt on. Right, hopefully you can see kind of everything I'm doing. It's awkward to get a camera angle but not get a good camera angle and not be in the way. That's why I need a cameraman. Be a lot easier with a cameraman. What we're aiming for is to get this side tight, that side loose or looser, because that's when we pull the tensioner, it will take the slack up. But this side has to be tight, because otherwise we'll be out of timing. Can be a bit awkward just to feed it in past that ridge of the sensor. Now we're in over the idler, keeping it tight as possible, over the top pulley, then get it around the water pump first. It's around the water pump, around the tensioner, and then around the pump. But we need to get it around this one first before the pump. Like that, and now we've got to try and get it around the pump. The camera is really in my way. Of course, it's not playing ball at the camera in a fucking way. So let's try get that around. Sometimes when you half put it on pulleys you get that little bit more room, but this one is tight. We'll try the pulley. No, we can't try the pulley first because it definitely won't work. Is it loose down here? No, it's nice and taut there. That's good. So it is just, oh, don't need that to fall out, that needs to stay in there. Right, let's get it round the pump first, and then maybe try the tensioner. There we go. Whew. I've just got to push it on now. Right, let me just push that on. I can get the camera out of the way, and then we'll have to double check all the marks, make sure it's all good, and then we'll button it all up. Right, I want to show you a trick that you can absolutely love me for. I've got the timing belt on. I thought I had it on camera, but I actually didn't. It slipped off. So I'm going to show you a trick. 24mm spanner. I'm going to take this timing belt off now, which is going to bite me in the arse. I just know it will. Right, so I've moved the pump. Right, the pump now is in its original position from the tip X marks. Like I said, this one, you've got a bit of movement. The pin that holds it in place, you can actually move it a couple of teeth. So what was happening was, when I was tensioning this up, getting this nice and taut, I was still slightly off on here. This was a little bit loose. So what I did was, taking the belt off, 24mm spanner, turn the pump all the way clockwise until it stops. Then put the belt on. So take it off there, put it on, and it slips on here really easy. Well, it did a second ago. Now look, really easy, but the pump is in the wrong place and there's too much slack here. So all I then do is put the back to the original marks, which is there. That's back to the original marks. It's now taut here, and the belt is on. How easy was that? Nothing else has moved, and the belt is now on, and the slack is here, which is exactly where we want it to be. So I'm just going to push this on all the way, which now is, and now if you look at my original tip X marks, see that? Exactly the right place. So we haven't moved it. Now we're going to pull this pin. Let's see if I can pull the pin. Quite easy, or is it? There we go. Pin is now pulled. What we're going to do is we're going to tension this now. And we are, oh, it's nearly off the water pump. I didn't see that. Oh, fuck. We're going to tension this now, and I'm going to show you the way how to tension it. Right, so what we now need is a 13mm spanner and a 6mm Allen key. You can see on here there is an arrow to tell you which way to turn this. If you're unsure, always check on the tensioner. This one is anti-clockwise. So we're going to put a 6mm Allen key in there. We'll wait there. Then we're going to twist the Allen key until this goes into the middle there. Because this is held on by the stud sticking out of the engine, this isn't going to move. Only this will move. Once it gets in the middle, then you hold the Allen key and we tighten the bolt with, it's actually a screw, but anyway, because it screws into something, well, we will not talk about it. And that's how you do it. If you release the tension and tighten it, you can actually you can make it go too tight or too loose. So always hold the Allen key there. I'm going to try and get the camera all the way down so you can see what I'm doing, but it's going to be a bit awkward. Right, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I think you can actually see, well, I don't think, I know you can actually see a million times better than what I can. So what we're going to do, we can get this Allen key in here, get it as low as possible. So there, then I'm going to turn it, and as I'm turning it, you see the belt tension, and hopefully what you're going to see is that thing moving into the middle, which for some reason it is not. What's going on there? It's not moving. What is happening there? Why is that not moving? Weird. Ah, there we go. Now, I think that's it. But the camera's in the way for me to look properly, so I'm holding the Allen key and tightening this at the same time to move the camera so I can see properly. But I think that is it. Anyway, that's all I can do. I'm going to actually look back on the camera and see if I'm right, and if I'm not, I'm going to adjust it accordingly. I think the camera's straight on it. It might not be, but we'll see. Right, it moved a little bit, so I had to readjust it. It just went a tiny bit, a fraction too high, and to be honest, it would have mostly been okay, but look, it is what it is. So as you can now see, the timing belt is on. What you want to do is, some timing belts have directional arrows, so they have to go the right way. This one doesn't, so it can go anyway. You can put the right in facing towards you or facing away, it doesn't really matter. But as you can see, all our marks are still lining up perfectly. Now this one comes out nice and easy, which is what it should do. The bottom one, again, look, comes out nice and easy. Top one was always a little bit stiff, but it goes in, comes out nice and easy. So there we go, nothing has moved. We should be absolutely fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all the pins out and we're going to rotate this at least twice. If it doesn't lock up, then we're not going to do any damage. Now if something is moved or weird, that's why I always do double Tipp-Ex marks. It might not start, but at least you know you've done no damage, and you can take everything off and start again. But if it locks up and you try and start it, you're going to do damage. So it's always best just to turn it by hand first to make sure it's all good, and I can't stop burping. Right, I'm going to get underneath there now and turn this bad boy, the engine down a little bit. Should be enough. One. Ow, ow, I slipped up. Ow, I've just pinched my fucking fingers. Now, does everything fit back? We might not go in the exactly right position. Well, that goes back in. That goes back in. And then the bottom one. We're going a bit too far. Yeah, just a tiny bit too far, but they all go in. So we are good. I want to show you the hole that the top pulley goes into. There you go, look. See the hole there? I've moved it so you can see, but that's the hole inside the engine that the hole on the cam actually lines up and locks up to. Okay, so this is all good to go. What we're going to do is we're going to put the covers back on. I'm going to put the bottom cover back on, I'm going to put the engine mount back on. I'm going to leave the top cover off. I always do that. That's just my own personal preference, because I like to start the engine and let it run, obviously put the coolant in, and I want to see if there's any noise or smoke or any bits of metal flying up or anything like that. When you put the top cover on, you can't see that. Right, we get a brand new bolt for the bottom, and you have to be careful, because if you look underneath, you see there's a little slot cut in it there, and you can see a little mark on it there, because it will only go on one way. Now it'll go on anyway, but if you put it on and you don't get that little line that I showed you in between here and there, you're going to break that and the car will not start, because the pickup will not work. And I've just realized I haven't put the cam sensor on. Phew, where's it gone? I'm going to do that before I put this on, or it definitely won't stop. Right, I got that back in now. You can see the gap there, and that gap, that air gap, is very, very important. There's a little nipple here where my finger is behind there that has to slot into a hole. They can get seized in there and people break them. And then even though you've located it into this hole here, it can still move at the top, and it can adjust this gap, which can make it do all sorts of weird things. So if that little nipple breaks, you kind of need a new sensor. I know it's frustrating, but it's kind of the way it is. We've got this plate in on top here, got the bolt in underneath there. So now what I've got to do is, like I was explaining before, and you're not going to be able to see it, we fit it, but you can see that little I don't know what you'd call it, my mind's gone a blank. You see the slit all around here, and then it's not there. So so you see it's not a slit. Needs to line up with the little cutout. There you go, in here. And the easiest way to do it is to not film yourself doing it at the same fucking time. Just put it in, twist it until it just slots into place. So I'll twist it now, and there we go. See, slots into place and it can't turn. So I know that's now right. I can now put the bottom bolt on with my old gun, zit, a couple of ugga duggers, and click click, and there's the thing on. Right, what you need to do is you need to put the engine mount on first, or part the engine mount onto the engine first, then put your covers on. If you put the covers on first, you will not be able to get your engine mount on. But a good trick to put these on is never ever, if you look here, look, see how that the engine needs to come up. Don't be tempted to lift the engine up a little bit like that, put the screws in, and then zip it up. You can see there's another inch and a half gap here, and zip it up with the gun. It will work, but it's going to rip threads out, and then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So make sure you get the engine jacked all the way to the top, so where the engine mount, and the camera falls, to where the engine mount is completely set flat and it's not on the chassis leg. Then you can screw it down. Then we can move the engine, or put the engine down on the jack and move it into the right place to screw it down onto the chassis. Can't remember, these are 16s, are they, or 15s? The little gun. I always tighten this by hand. I just zip it down with the gun first, because it's a hell of a lot quicker. Now I need to push the engine all the way over to here. Right, now this has to go down, and you can see the marks that it used to have from the bolts. You line up with them marks, but put them both in, line up with them marks like that. I'm going to drop the engine down a little bit like that, and then I'll tighten that one. Or do I need the extension? I need my extension and my wobbly bar. I just went to where I put all the parts because I had to put the engine mount back, and I saw some ants on the tensioner, the old tensioner, and I've disturbed an ant's nest. They're moving all the little eggs and they're all over the tensioner. Put it back there so they can get back to their home a lot quicker. They're not over that. Oh yeah, loads of the little bastards. So here's the new tensioner, and if you spin this wheel, it's absolutely perfect. I can't spin the other wheel because I'll give an ants a free ride and they'll fly everywhere. But you heard it at the beginning of the video, and you can see this is the bar I was talking about. So when we come, this is the bar we put in also on the old one, but these are the bars you keep because they're always bloody handy. If I'd have realised I should have put this on before, well actually no I can't, so I have to have done it this way because I can say before I put that engine mount on, but it makes no difference. But the engine mount I put over the top, I took it off because it just makes life a little bit easier. This then has to come over on top of there and wedge itself in. Should be able to film all this. So this should come over to here. Bolts out me skyrocket. Put it in there. Put it in there. Okie dokie. What size was it? I can't remember. 10 mil. Now this one goes here. Can I get it in? Things in the way or not? You twat. Come on, you going in? Yep, you're going in. Jack the engine up, jack it up a bit more, and a tiny bit more, and there we go. Again, tying everything by hand. The old power tools just help so much. You ready for the torque spec? You pop it up on the screen, click, click. Click, click, and click. I'm only going to say that once because I know that's going to annoy people. And right, we got a new fan belt which I'm going to go underneath. It's Continental 6 PK 800. That's the one that goes on this. I just checked the old one and it's a 6 PK 800 as well, so we know it's definitely going to fit. Oh, I say it's going to fit. It's a bit. Oh, yeah. Why are you doing that? Hey, hey. You're not behaving yourself, Mr. Belt. Oh. properly. That would normally stand to reason. No, still not behaving yourself, little shit. There we go. Oh, it's kind of on. What I'm going to have to do, I think, is... Oh, come on, you little shit. That's too small. Let's get my big lever bar. Shove it over here. Lever against. Come on. Come on. Come on, you little shit. Right, it's not going to work.
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
Lucky enough, it's easy to get to here with my hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to slacken this a little bit more. So we can get 15mm spanner on it again. And what I'm going to do is we're going to slacken it a bit more. No, we're not. Did something just fall off there? Did something break? Oh shit, a bit of that just broke off. It's not going to cause us a problem. It's fucking annoying though. Right, pull that to the side like that, and then slide that on with my hand, and then just slide that on with my hand. There we go. That is now on. Pull it back again, let that fully release, keep this, and now we can put on the engine mount again. And you've seen how I did it last time, so I'm just going to do that off camera. Then we're ready to start this bad boy. Working on a customer's car in his driveway, doing his timing belt, doing a service, doing a few little bits, and look what's just come out to me. How awesome is that? We got some antifreeze in. I'm just scoffing down that food. Got these pipes in. I've left the top cover off on purpose, like I said. Engine mounts on. So this should now be starting. Right, just got the keys. See what happens when you start it. I mean, hopefully it just starts. I mean, I don't want anything to happen. There we go. Awesome. What's that noise? The fan belt. Hope it's not the timing belt. I can't see any marks on the timing belt. So what the hell is that noise? Could be the water pump. Stop now. Oh, it's come back. The alternator. I can feel it coming from the alternator. Stopping now. I think it's the water pump maybe. Let me put some more coolant in it. Maybe what it was is the alternator was straining to charge the battery because I had a few lights and stuff left on. The noise is now gone. I need to make sure there's no leaks. Need to make sure it bleeds the system properly. Sometimes there's a bleed nipple over here. I can't see one on this one. Near the thermostat, I can't see it. So we'll just let it bleed and see what happens. I've got the heater on inside. It appears to be circulating. I can see a bit of movement in there. We got a little bit of heat inside. You can also put your finger in here and we can feel it's warm, so it's definitely doing something. It's a good system, this, in the sense of there's no particular bleed nipple, so it comes straight off the thermostat where the bleed nipple normally is to the expansion bottle, so any air will come through there. The expansion bottle is higher than this, so the air should naturally go to the top, and then we've got another one coming from the radiator to the bottom there, so again, any bubbles in there. All I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this bottom cover on, and I'm going to put that back on so I can put the wheel on, because there doesn't appear to be any leaks underneath, which is good, and it all seems to be happy at the minute, which is obviously good. Right, so there we go, it is all back together, it is all running fine, we've bled the system, there's no leaks, there's no weird noises, it is all good to go. So there you go, that's how you do a timing belt on one of these. And these engines are in a lot of things, you know, it's a Ford, Peugeot, Citroen, they're all the same engines, and basically the same way of doing it. So the only difference with some of them is they have different pumps and stuff in for the back of the engine, slightly different setups, but essentially they are the same. Sometimes they have different make of injectors and stuff like that, but again, essentially the same. So as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get down 30 to see you for the next one. Sorted.